Last week, we talked about what we should do with the remaining holes on offense. This week, we're tackling the defense. Let's get to it. Welcome back to another Titan Bros video. I'm your host, Gabriel, alongside my brother, Josiah. Welcome in. We're going to have a great video because they're all great. You look like you're ready to say something.
Nope. I am good.
Okay, cool.
I'll let you do your thing, buddy.
Alrighty. Well, like I said briefly in the intro there, we did go over the offense of what we think we should do, whether we're fixing this in free agency, wave 2 or 3, or whatever wave this is considered, or whether we should go after them in the draft, or some needs need both. Some
need neither.
We're good. Like corners. I think we are good on corners. You know what I'm trying to say? Unless you want to get some undrafted free agents, in case you're not sold on Trey Avery and Eric Garrer, which I don't think I am, but you know. But yeah, so today is the defense, which I guess I kind of was answering some of my questions prematurely. First and foremost, let's go with, I'm just kind of throwing it out there on the spot. I didn't actually prepare an order and write down names or anything, so we're kind of winging it a little bit. But let's go ahead and go edge rusher to start. And I will start. Not both. It needs to be one or the other. I think Arden Key, Harold Landry's fine. He's been very durable, minus tearing his ACL in the offseason, the 1 year. He's been very durable. I think he's a good starting pass rusher, not great or elite, but I think he's a good pass rusher. He's fine over there. Let him do his thing. But Arden Key, he's a rotational piece. He just is. He always has been. Last year was his first opportunity to be a full-time starter, and he showed that he is better in spot work. Yeah, as a rotational pass rusher. Nothing wrong with that. You're getting paid like a rotational pass rusher. It's not like we're giving him $15, $16 million a year or anything. So we either need. Here's a problem. I don't want to draft. We don't have a third-round pick. I don't want to use a first or a second-round pick on an edge rusher. And if we get a fourth edge rusher, I'm afraid it'll just a fourth-round edge rusher. I'm afraid it'll just be another Rashawn Evans. Nope, not Rashawn Evans. Rashad Weaver. It'd just be another Rashad Weaver, where it's just like, So it's one of the situations where there's sadly there's getting more and more talk about Titans drafting edge rusher in round 1.
I don't like that.
I don't either. I don't either. Which we'll get to that once we do what we want in a draft class there. But another thing is the second round. We could get one in the second round. I don't want to do that. I understand the need for it, but we have needs elsewhere. So I guess I kind of talked myself into saying free agency. If we can, the problem is what is even the edge rusher free agency looking like? So my answer to the question, I don't know. We need something, but I don't know how or when to address it. What do you think?
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think we definitely need to address it. I agree with you that Arden Key is not just an every down pass rusher. I think we could get one in the later rounds, because if we get another solid
you want Bud Dupree?
What is it?
Do you want Bud Dupree?
No. Is he a free agent?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's bad. If we get another solid rotational edge rusher to go with Arden Key, then if you have 2 solid edge rushers rotational, that's not terrible for me. And you can get one and maybe a little bit later in the draft, or like you said, I don't know who's left available in free agency.
Do you want Yannick Ngakoue? Ngakoue? I don't know how everybody pronounces it different. There's him. There's Carl Lawson. It's looking pretty bleak. There's Justin Houston, but he's 35 years old.
Yeah, that's why.
I don't know why he hasn't retired yet. Yeah, it's not looking good. I hate to say it, but we either do need to draft and hope for the best, or
I say a later draft pick, and if he works out to be a decent pass rusher, rotational, then great. If he doesn't, it's a later draft pick. But I do say we need to at least attempt it. See if you can find someone that goes under the radar for whatever reason, a small school, something, and see if you can get yourself a good late round pass rusher.
Yeah, I think that has to be what it is because the free agency looks awful.
I would love to see Caleb Murphy get a chance, but that's just me.
Yeah,
I'll just say he passed it. He's passed every test that we've given him that he's ever experienced. I'll say he passed it. So why not see if he can pass it in the NFL?
Good question. Good question. Let's go ahead and hop into the next one then. Defensive line. Not edge rushers, but like, defensive end, defensive tackle, nose tackle, things like that. It's probably defensive end. One of them is going to be, or defensive line. One of them is going to be Simmons, obviously. The other one's going to be Sebastian Joseph Day. So we still need a starter on the line there.
Am I going or you going?
You are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The problem is, and we'll talk about this later in another video probably, but I want my first round and second round to go offense. Yeah. So when it comes to defense, the problem is everything will be a later round pick or it'll be a picked over free agency. So there's really not much to give you much more of a oomph here. You know what I mean? Are you looking through what's left?
Yeah, that's looking bad too. I mean, Fletcher Cox, who basically kind of retired without retiring.
I thought, to be honest.
Well, then he shouldn't be on this list. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he did retire. There's just like Al Woods.
We had him.
Tier Tart just got signed yesterday. But anyways, there's just like people I barely even know. Like Nick Williams. You want Nick Williams as a defensive tackle? How about Rose Blacklock? Blacklock. That's a hard word to say. James Lynch. I don't know who these idiots are. I guess for me, did you answer?
No, I guess. Problem is this going to be the exact same answer almost, but I feel like late draft pick and see what happens.
That's kind of the same thing I'm thinking. Like the free agent looks awful. I mean, obviously, one option that we never actually include is just random people that get cut in training camp, just things like that, where you're like, not really sure why you just got cut, but you're better than what we have here, so we're going to scoop you up. You know what I'm trying to say? So a lot of times that'll happen. So obviously that should be something we should keep as an option, but I agree with you. We got to go late round. And I've heard a lot of people say that I'm inclined to agree with. Defensive line people right there in the middle are some of the most replaceable /
they are.
They affect the least amount of a football game. They just do. So yeah, I think you're right. Take a chance. We have like 3 7th-round picks and a 6th, and I think we might have 2 6ths, maybe 1 or 2. I don't remember. Anyways, just use a late round pick on one of those bad boys, and that's just all there is to it. All right. Next one on the list there, Home Slice. Inside linebacker. Inside linebacker.
I said we just, and this sounds weird because I did a last video or 2 videos ago, I complained a lot about the guy we got from the Chargers, whoever his name was. And I'm not a fan of that, but when you are working with a large roster like the NFL roster is, you're going to have spots that you're like, that's not my favorite, but we got to be weak somewhere because we can't be strong everywhere. Linebackers is that for me in today's NFL.
Basically, like I just said, the defensive line was.
Yeah, and I look at those two, and I'm like, I'm not in love with either of those two, but there's other and more important positions to me. So to me, I say we'll give them 2 a shot and see what happens.
You mean Jack Gibbons and K9?
Yep. I'm not a fan of them. There's something that Gibbons did that I like, some things, and I don't like the Chargers guy, but that's just, again, you got to be weak somewhere. You can't be strong everywhere. So I would say give them 2 a shot.
Here's the thing. I agree, but at the same time, I see flaws in our logic because if we have a weak D-line and weak linebackers, teams are going to be a run all.
That's what Jeffrey Simmons needs to step up a little bit. His run stop has not been as good as it was when he first came into the league, but he needs to step it up and be a good run stopper for us.
Yeah, his pass rush has been better.
And yes,
and his run stop has been worse because, I agree. Coming in, he's like, he's got that middle under control for the next 10 years.
Yep.
But it's kind of been the opposite for us. He actually gets a decent amount of sacks for being right there in the middle of the defensive line. But I agree, you don't see a lot of tackle for losses and things like that. So, but yeah, I'm looking at the free agents. Shaq Leonard, what happened to him?
I want to say injuries. I think it was injuries that derailed him.
Okay, because he's still only 28 years old. But then it was like a surprise cut last year.
Here's the thing: if you want to bring him in to compete, go ahead. But as long as he wants to be a cheap contract, that's the.
I would agree. Zach Cunningham, that ship has sailed. Dylan Cole, remember him?
Who?
Dylan Cole.
Oh yeah,
he's just a special teamer for us that played more than he should have because of injuries. But yeah, the inside linebacker, it's washed up. As soon as we missed out on Jerome Baker, that was the one, because Jerome Baker had a visit scheduled with the Titans, but I think he ended up signing. I forgot even where it was, but he ended up signing before I think his visit with us. So yeah, I mean, I hate to agree with you again because we're being a little boring here. Sometimes it's better when we kind of fight a little bit. But linebacker, it just the free agency pool dry as all get out. We have to. I will say Rand was part of the late round drafting process in 49ers, and he brought in Fred Warner. I think it was a 5th round pick.
He's a pretty good linebacker.
Yeah, I'll say. So he might be able to hit maybe on some of these late picks. If nothing else, Otis Reese. I kind of liked Otis Reese. I think he was a safety turned linebacker, and he was undrafted linebacker last year for us, undrafted free agent, and he showed a lot of flashes. I know Vrabel really liked them, so we'll see. We'll see if maybe he can get himself in the rotation a little bit. But defensive line / linebackers could very well be the big glaring weakness of our defense this year. Something I think we should target next year, because I think we're still projected like 80 or 90 million next year in cap space. That's why a lot of people, I hate when folks say it and just give up on this year, but that's why a lot of people say 2025 is really the year that if Callahan's good, if Will Levis is good, it's next year that we're going to make a Super Bowl run, because we're going to have all these people like Calvin Ridley, Snead, all those, plus we have another 80, 90 million to really bring in some idiots to.
The one thing is, I would say, what I hate, and this is slightly off topic, Titans had a really good offseason. But if there's a team that I think might have had a better offseason, to me, it's the Texans. I'm like, dang, we compete with them. Because here's one thing. Even if you say we have a slight better offseason, they have a way better quarterback, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah. And Stroud, so Stroud was my guy last year. I was pounding the table for Stroud. I was like, I know we're giving up all these future picks and everything, but trade up to number 2 and get CJ Stroud. He's so much better.
As much as I think a couple videos ago, I'm like, I think Titans could win the South. I don't see no reason not to. But I'm like, Texans, they might be really good.
Actually, I'll tell you what's going to be an epic battle. It's going to be, do you know if Nico Collins or Tank Dell plays in the slot?
I do not know.
I don't either. We'll just say Tank.
They have a good receiver core.
Yeah, let's imagine Stephon Diggs versus L'Jarius Sneed, Tank Dell versus Roger McCreary, and Nico Collins versus Chidobe Awuzie.
Yeah.
That'll be epic. Yes, epic little battle there. All right, so that's all there is to say about the linebackers. This one's probably not going to take very long, and I'll go first. Cornerback. I say leave it alone.
Yeah.
I say leave it alone.
Yeah, cornerback is our strongest position, probably on defense. So yeah,
it could be the strongest position on our whole team, besides maybe running back, which is kind of annoying. We're supposed to be getting away from running back being the focal point. But anyways, but yeah, so this cornerback could be our strongest part of the team. I like the fact that we have 2 really good proven guys. We have Roger McCreary as still a young but good slot guy. We have the high upside project that'll probably never turn out, and Caleb Farley. We still got the people like Trey Avery and Eric Guerra, who's hold up the back end of that, who can be special teamers. Like that's all good. That's a good thing. Cornerback is set. Like if we end up going like in the 2nd or the 4th round and we pick up a corner, I'll be like, what are we doing? Agreed?
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So actually, it is your turn. Corner. Anything you want to say about it?
No, I agree. I was like, leave that one alone. We're strong though. There's other places we can address, so I think we should leave that one alone.
Next one, safety. We'll just kind of combine them both to one. Amani Hooker, obviously, I'm good. I think he's a very good starter, like slightly above average starter. Actually, I'd say he might be borderline top 10 if you're like ranking free safety or safety. I think he's strong safety actually, but safety for if he can do whichever one you want to do. Ranking safety for each team, I think he's definitely sniffing the top 10. I like him. But I do not like Elijah Molden
No.
as our starter on the other side. There are names that I still like. My pipe dream, I know this is probably not going to happen, but Justin Simmons, we still have enough money. If we give him a 2-year, $20 million, maybe it's a little steep. Maybe it's a little steep for someone his age. He's 30 right now. But that gives us him for 2 years. We have the cap space for him.
We do have the cap space.
And then that would solidify a top set. Oh, I just squeaked my voice correct. 15 again. But a top secondary. I would love that.
I think so too. And honestly, I wish we could do it right now before someone else sweeps in to take him. I'm actually surprised he's still left. But yeah, if we can get him, I like our secondary a lot. Now the problem is I'm like Hooker and Simmons are safety, but Hooker's going to miss some games. Hopefully not too many, but he's going to. But
yeah, I think he only missed one last year, but it was the second game of the season. He against the Saints and missed the Chargers game.
Yeah, so that's a great secondary, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been bad at that for a while, at least last year. But
we haven't had a good secondary in a decade, I feel like.
That would be amazing. I would love that. I just wish we can help it out with a little bit of a pass rush, because I think our pass rush could be a little weak. But anyway, I like that. I think Simmons would be, if we could get the secondary completely fixed up like this, I'd be like, okay, I think our defense might be decent. Because actually, for a second, I was a little worried that our defense might be lacking this year. But if we could get Simmons, because he's also leadership, you know what I mean? So I think he'd be great all the way around. I'm already content with this offseason, but if we get Simmons, it'd be a nice little cherry on top.
Actually, in my opinion, free agency, if I was GM, there's 2 more needs that I would really address. If we could address safety and one of the 2 tackle positions, and I would say A+ free agency. Yeah. That's just how I'd feel. But Justin Simmons is not the only one I got my eyes on. If we could get Eddie Jackson, Quandre Diggs, Marcus May, like these are all good veteran starting safeties that I would take over Elijah Molden any day of the week. Yeah. So I guess to answer the question, not the draft, I would say this needs to be free agency.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I say not the draft either. I say free agency's got plenty of options out there that we can address it from that.
Free agency is the easy answer in a lot of these because first and second rounds, we kind of almost have those spoken for already. Like we already pretty much know we're going wide receiver, tackle, or tackle wide receiver with the first round and the second round, and then we don't have a third.
So we're going straight to the 4th round now.
Right, 4th on. So it's like, how much are we really going to get?
The 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, you're not filling holes with those positions. You know what I mean? No. That's special when you start going, well, this is the best player left. Do we really need another cornerback? No, but this cornerback's really good, and he's still left in the 4th round. We get him. And you start thinking like that in the 4th, 6th, 7th rounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you just like, well, who's actually someone we think could be really good? Oh, this guy's good. Yeah, he's not going to fill this hole, but why not get him? You know what I mean? I agree. That's just how I feel about it. 4th, 2nd, and 3rd, I think you're hoping they can jump in and help some, but
4th is rotational, 5th is kind of rotational / backup, and then 6th and 7th is just like we'll see. Okay. So I think it just about does it. That just about does it. So this is our last free agency video, honestly. Yep. So to close out things for me, like I just said, if we can get a tackle but get a tackle and a safety, and then I'll be good. Maybe one more D lineman. Yeah. But again, we talked about how I don't want to say undervalued because I actually feel like they're valued correctly in being undervalued, quote unquote. But so that's not like a super high on my priority list. But if we can get us a tackle, preferably get a right tackle in free agency, give us a safety, then that would be just a home run, knock it out of the ballpark.
I agree. I definitely think we want to get a tackle in the draft, but safety, I guess that still remains to be seen because I know we want Simmons or something like that, but I don't know for sure if the Titans are even interested in that. But surely they don't want Molden as the starter.
Early in free agency, Diana Rossini of The Athletic, I think is what she's with, she did say Titans are interested in Justin Simmons. So, Of course, now that was before, like, Chido Beozi. And
some veterans like to take the time.
L'Jarius Sneed, yeah.
That's what he's probably doing, Simmons.
Yeah. So anything else you want to say?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, well, I think we have 2 more videos before the draft. One of them we're going to recap the draft, or not recap the draft, but we'll, talk draft. Who knows? Maybe both of them will be draft talk. We'll see. But yeah, exciting times when you're a team that's finished with a losing record 2 years in a row. The most exciting time is the off season, where every team is filled with hope.
Yes, so
false hope typically. But yeah, so I guess that's all I got. So thanks for watching. Make sure you're liking and subscribing if you even held on this long to the end of this video. So yeah, we'll see you next week, and bye.